Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle something that is beautiful, but let's be honest, can be totally chaotic, planning both a modern and a traditional Korean wedding. The goal here is to cut through that complexity and give you a real actionable plan. Does this question sound familiar? If you're getting hit with this from all sides, from well-meaning family and friends, trust me, you are not alone. It's a simple question, but it's loaded with so many expectations, right? It honestly feels like you're being pulled in two completely different directions. The budget math suddenly gets twice as complicated, your vendors are confused, and it seems like everyone, and I mean everyone, has an opinion on everything. Okay, so here is the secret. This is the big mindset shift that changes the entire game. You have to stop thinking of it as planning two separate competing events. Instead, think of it like this. You're crafting one single, cohesive story that's just being told in two beautiful, different languages. So first things first, we have to build a solid foundation. And that means getting super clear on your purpose and figuring out how to manage those really important and, yeah, sometimes intense family expectations. The very first thing you should do is sit down with your partner and just define the why behind each ceremony. Maybe one is really for your families. It's about honoring tradition and history. And the other one, that's for you. It's for your personal story, your vows. This why becomes the filter for every single decision you make from here on out. Now, if you really want to understand the guest list, you've got to understand this concept, Hojeok. This isn't just some old piece of paper. It's the official family registry. It tracks lineage, and believe me, it has a huge and often totally invisible impact on who gets an invitation. And that leads us to the invisible guest list. It's a real thing. That guest request from your parents that seems completely random, it's probably not random at all. It's tied to this deep history of who's who in the family tree, of respect, and who owes an invitation based on things that happened decades ago. All right, now for the practical stuff. Let's build the framework. We are diving headfirst into the two topics that cause the most stress for pretty much any couple, money and logistics. With this different mindset, just by reframing how you think about the budget, you can actually save about 10 to 20%. Seriously, without sacrificing the meaning of the day or making anyone upset. So the big question, how in the world do you budget for two completely different styles of ceremonies? The key is to stop thinking about it as one massive, scary number. The smartest way to do it is to think in tiers of coverage. You decide where to go all out and where you can be a little more focused. And here's kind of what that tiered approach can look like. You can see how, say, a Tier 2 modern wedding might stack up against a Tier 2 traditional one. This lets you be really intentional about which ceremony gets the bigger slice of the budget, which helps protect your other big financial goals. And let's be real for a second. For so many couples, especially in Korea, the biggest financial hurdle isn't actually the wedding. It's the massive jeonse deposit on a new apartment. You always have to balance the wedding budget against your housing budget. That long-term stability is worth way more than an extra dessert table, I promise. Okay, here is a massive sanity-saving tip for you. Treat the legal paperwork like its own little mini project. Just separate it completely. This way, some visa deadline or bureaucratic issue won't mess up your actual ceremony plans. A quiet trip to the district office is honestly the most peaceful way to get it done. All right, now for the really fun part. Let's talk about how you weave your own personal story through all the tangible things, like what you wear and the rituals you choose to include. So when you're picking your outfits, you've got to think beyond just the photos. A hanbok is stunning when you're moving around, but man, it can get really warm. And a super form-fitting white dress might look incredible in posed photos, but it could make it almost impossible to do a deep formal bow. You have to think about comfort and practicality. I love this quote so much because it gets at such a crucial lesson. Your family is not looking for a perfect, flawless performance of these rituals. What really matters to them is the respect you show just by trying. The effort is the point, not perfection. And look, you do not need to perform a marathon of every single traditional ritual that exists. The emotional punch is so much bigger when you just pick a few that feel really meaningful to you, and then you do them slowly with your full attention. Less is absolutely more here. Okay, so how do we bring all of these different threads, the family, the money, the style, all together? How do you actually craft a final experience that feels authentic, that feels like you? This, right here, is the absolute perfect way to see it. Your wedding isn't a compromise. It's a translation. The modern ceremony, that can carry your shared future, all your inside jokes. And the traditional ceremony holds your past, your lineage, and your family's memories. Together, they tell your whole amazing story. So here's how you can start, right now. Just take 15 minutes today and do these 3 simple things. I'm telling you, this one small action can take you from feeling completely overwhelmed to feeling like you're actually in control. In the end, this is really the only question that matters. Let this be your guide. If the choices you're making are leading you towards ceremonies that feel peaceful and real and true to who you are as a couple, then you are on exactly the right track.